Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and in today's video I'm going to show you a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes when I'm preparing for a project. And the project I'm working on at the moment is a Masters of the Universe Spydor. Now I've been slowly collecting parts for this because it's one of those vehicles that just has a lot of parts and a lot of parts that break, and this has taken me quite a long time. I need to get 6 of the legs, of which so far I think I've got 4 and a broken one, so I'm still looking for one more set of the legs. And I've also been trying to track down the guns, which actually is something I've done. I've got a few of the guns here, all broken, and I still need to find some bits for the front. But you know, as these things go, this is actually not too bad. I've got quite a lot of parts and I'm getting close to getting all the bits that I need. But while I'm waiting for parts, I like to do a few tests to make sure that I'm actually going to be able to fix it. And one of the things I need to test is whether I can actually repair the legs. I've got one of the legs here, and as you can see, it is smashed into a couple of pieces, and to me this feels like the sort of plastic that will work with Plastic Weld, but I need to do some tests first to check that that is actually the case. So that's what I'm going to do today. I've got this leg, as I show you, which is broken, but someone has previously had a go at gluing it, so I need to remove some of the glue, and then we'll give it a test and see if we can actually repair this. And if this does work, it means that I can then look out for broken legs, because I know I can fix them, and that should save me some money on this restoration, which is always a good thing. So let's do some tests on this and see if we can actually get this stuck back together and in a usable state. So this is the leg that I've got, and you can see it's actually a fairly clean break, but at some point someone has had a go at gluing this. So the first thing we need to do is try and remove any remnants of glue from the area that we want to sort of try and plastic weld. And the simplest way to do that is with a knife and just sort of scrape off any residue. Normally glues like this, especially if they've been glued a long time ago, tend to flake off. So I'm just going to sort of carefully scrape over the surface and try and flake away as much of the glue as I possibly can and get it as clean as we can, so that when we come to plastic weld there's nothing sort of in the way to stop the plastic weld from working. So I've managed to clean away most of the glue there, and I think it should be free enough and clean enough that we can try the plastic weld. Now plastic weld is not a glue. It basically dissolves the surface of the plastic and fuses it back together. So it doesn't work on every plastic, but it certainly works on a lot of plastics. And this stuff to me feels like the sort of thing that plastic weld will work on. So what we've got to do is put plastic weld on both of these joints and sort of join them together. And then we'll also put plastic weld on using capillary action. So I'm just going to use a brush and brush it on, and it should get pulled into the joints. And hopefully there'll be enough sort of a clean surface here that these two surfaces will fuse back together. It might be on this one that I need to use a bit of super glue to build up some areas, just because looks like there's a little bit missing, but I'm hopeful that plastic weld will just work. And that's why I do these tests, just to see if these things are actually fixable, and then I know exactly what I can buy in future. So let's get the plastic weld open and give this a go. So I just have a brush here, get that soaked in plastic weld. We can place this on the surface. You can normally tell if it's going to work because the surface will change colour just ever so slightly. You can see it starting to melt a bit. You'll also get a bit of colour on your brush, a bit of orange in this instance, where the surface is starting to melt. I think this is doing exactly that. Right, so let's push these together, get them all lined up, see if it starts to feel sticky. Okay, that is starting to bond. Sometimes when things have been repaired before and you've got glue in the way, it really sort of stops the plastic weld being able to work, which is why you've got to try and clean as much out as you can. It's always better to use it on a clean break if possible. You can see here there's a little gap where bits are missing, but I might be able to fix that by using another broken leg and scraping a few bits of plastic off, and we can make a sort of putty out of it. But let's try this first and see if this works. It does feel like it's fusing. You also have to leave this to set for a little while, because you're essentially melting the plastic. You want it to fully solidify again and let all of these solvents evaporate. So I might leave this for an hour and just see how well it goes. It's now a few hours later and this has fused together really nicely. So I've got a very strong leg there that I can actually use in this restoration. So that's really good news because I've saved something that was broken, and it means that I can now keep an eye out for more broken versions of this Spydor leg because I know I can actually fix them. Plastic Weld, as I say, is what I use here. This is the stuff I use, which is EMA Model Supplies Plastic Weld. There are different versions of this available from different makers, but this is the one that I get here in the UK. They are a UK based company. So if you can't get this in the country you're in, search for something else because Plastic Weld is a fairly sort of common solvent, and it's very useful if you are fixing toys. It doesn't work on all plastics, and you tend to sort of learn as you go along which plastics it will work on. And I had a feeling that this would work on the Spydor leg, but I just wanted to give it a test before I actually sort of started on the main project. With all toy fixing things, it's worth doing a test first. If you're going to fix anything for the first time, have a little test just to make sure the stuff you're doing or the ideas that you're working on will actually work before going full on into the project. That way you should be able to avoid sort of any troubles as you get further into your restoration process. So now it means that I can actually get on with this project. I know that's going to work. I've still got a few more parts to find, and I've got a few bits that I know I can now fix, and that was the whole point of this process. Hopefully this video has been of interest to you. If it has, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Toy-Polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.